Thank you for browsing page 121. Today we're going to take a look at a guide to playing Mongoose Traveler Beyond the Horizon. It claims to be the ultimate guide to playing Mongoose Traveler by Frank Siccardi, known online as CyborgPrime. CyborgPrime does lots of nice Traveler stuff. We're going to take a look. Does this live up to the hype? The ultimate guide to playing Mongoose Traveler. Yeah, it kind of does. If you're looking for a book to get you into playing Mongoose Traveler, this is definitely a great step. What you get in here is kind of a how-to for a new GM or a new player. And especially the character creation part is very well put together. Frank writes a nice supplement. I've read a few of the other things he's done. And I enjoyed this. I really did. And I've been playing Traveler for over 40 years. And I still found some of the stuff in here quite useful. For $4 on DriveThruRPG, I'll put a link below. For $4, this was definitely worth it. So here's your nice table of contents, his dedicating it to his mom. That's awesome. And there's our intro. What's this going to do? Nice artwork throughout, very well put together, very professional presentation. Crafting your character's core. He recommends that you have kind of an idea for your character before you really get into developing the character. That is a good way to go, especially if you're new to the game. Having kind of an idea, I want to play a Han Solo type, I want to play some kind of asteroid miner, something is a good way to start playing in Traveler. And by the way, a lot of this stuff, it's specifically written for Mongoose Traveler, but a lot of this stuff that's in here applies to any edition of Traveler. So we get determining the essential characteristics, strength, dex, and endurance. Those are your physical characteristics. He goes on to discuss how they're basically your hit points in Traveler, because Traveler combat's really dangerous. Intelligence and education are your next two, and then, of course, Soch, which a lot of people treat as a dump stat. That is a mistake. Soch is very important in Traveler. And Traveler stats are going to range between 2 to 12 points generally. You can get them up to 15 naturally through character development and such. But he talks about that in here. And then we get Chapter 2, background skills, the foundation. In Mongoose Traveler, you get some background skills for having been alive. What you did up until your 18th birthday that made you the person that you are, and you get background skills for that, and he discusses it and how to find them and how to use them. Establishing a background, and then gives you something to think about. Selecting the perfect career path. There's no such thing. In Mongoose Traveler, a lot depends on the dice. The whims of the fates dictate some of your character, just as they do in real life. So the perfect career path, yes, but you're not going to walk it. You're going to have some flaws in there. But you're going to get opportunities to go to higher education and military academy before you sign up into any kind of service. And he goes into that here. Mustering out benefits, what are they? This is a really nice synopsis. Everything that's talked about in here is actually found in the Mongoose Traveler 2022 Core Rulebook Update. But this is a nice synopsis for anybody who's a little unsure about creating a character. This will really help you. And then unexpected characters, yes, you're going to have characters that you didn't expect to have, but sometimes those can be the best. Mustering out benefits and rewards of service. I really enjoy mustering out benefits. One of my favorite parts of character creation of Traveler is to see what you've accumulated over all this time in the service, depending on how many terms. And he goes into all the details. You can end up with starships or spacecraft, other skills, weapons, all kinds of stuff. And then the impact on your character development. Cash or benefits. He talks about how easy it is to get cash in the early go of Traveler, and it is. You can end up with some characters that have some significant cash as they start their careers. I've never found that to be a problem with Traveler. Mongoose Traveler limits you, I think, to 3 cash rolls. He recommends 1. I'm fine with the 3. It's not going to be a problem if they have too much cash. There's lots of ways to take it out. More good artwork. Bringing your character to life. Strengths and weaknesses, personality traits, quirks and mannerisms. All the stuff to add the depth to your role-playing. I generally will let my characters find their own way rather than predetermined quirks and things. I'll develop those as I'm playing the character the first couple of sessions. It's just how I like to do it. He advocates for building it a little bit and thinking about it beforehand, and I totally see that. but that's not how I usually work. I like to let the character kind of speak for itself in that regard. And then mastering the art of combat. Traveler combat is very dangerous, very quickly lethal. And he talks about here mastering the art of combat. You want to be sure to pre-think your stuff as much as you can before you get into a combat situation, and strategies for effective combat, improving tactics and strategy through practice and experience, all important things. Navigating the stars, safety in travel, and then we go into here traversing normal space, traveling through jump space, flyaway traveler, and then some more things to think about. Trade and commerce, thriving in the galaxy, stuff you can do to make money. These are all just thumbnails of what you can do. It's all brought out broader in the core rulebooks for Mongoose. And I do like that he doesn't cite the core rulebook itself, because that lets this supplement live longer, because he's not tying himself to one edition, that even if Mongoose were to publish a new edition in 2 or 3 years, you could still use a lot of what's in this book. This is a fun read. I really enjoyed it. He backs up scientific skills as being necessary. I agree completely. So often the scientist is overlooked, or he's the fuddy-duddy with the glasses who can't find his pair of matching socks. No, they can add a ton to role-playing and to your adventure. He talks about foraging for food, constructing camps and shelters. All this important stuff that a lot of travelers don't think about. They're thinking space. They're out there in the final frontier. They're flying around. They're trying to make some money, and they get into a little trouble here and there. But you can do a lot with Traveler on individual planets. And think about it. I mean, some role-playing games, you spend your entire life not only on one planet, but on one continent. But in Traveler, you're all over, literally, charted space. Shadow Ops, espionage and stealth. Yeah, why not? That can be a lot of fun in Traveler. He goes into a lot of it here. And mastering science and technology. Again, he embracing the marvels of science. He's talking about how important it can be to have somebody actually versed in some of the sciences. As an example, years ago in a Traveler campaign, I had a guy who went scientist, and he specialized in like cybernetics. So the players were able to actually not only get cybernetics at a discount because he knew a guy who knew a guy, that he was also, the player was able to update and upgrade their stuff as they played along, basically for free. His expertise was free because they were friends. That added a lot of depth that I had not expected into my Traveler campaign. And May the Stars Guide Your Journey is our out. And then some additional resources. He's talking about his YouTube channel, or CyborgPrime.com rather, YouTube CyborgPrime, Patreon CyborgPrime, and he thanks his patrons from Patreon. And we go back up to the cover. I enjoyed this book completely. I bought it a while ago, and then honestly it got kind of shoved to the bottom of the pile, my reading pile, which is not hard to do. Just ask my wife. I have reading piles kind of all over the house. But I am glad I read this one, and I really, really liked it. I recommend it for $4. I don't see how you could go wrong. And especially if you're a new Traveler GM, you definitely want to take a look at this and take a look at his synopsis of creating the characters. I'm a veteran Traveler GM, and I found some stuff in here that I definitely am going to use in my game. So I just want to say thank you, Frank, for doing this. I think it'd be neat, by the way, if Frank Siccardi was his pen name, his birth name was CyborgPrime, but I don't think that's too likely. So just kidding around. I really enjoyed this. I think he did a very nice job on this, and I do recommend it. I'm glad I have it in my Traveler library. $4 on DriveThruRPG. I'll put a link to it. And no, I'm not associated with CyborgPrime, but I have played in some of his Traveler stuff. I watch his videos. I follow him, and I recommend you do the same. It's a really good channel. But that's all I've got today on page 121. I thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Please leave any comments below, like and subscribe, tell your friends, take a look at my Patreon, see if you can help me out there, help me grow the channel. And that's it for today. I'll see you next time on page 121.